lesson is I can add and multiply unit fractions to build fractions greater than 1 using visual models. All right, so let me explain what that means. You're basically going to be doing what you've done in previous lessons. So the first type of problems you're going to have in your independent practice today are just going to be adding fractions to whole numbers and subtracting fractions from whole numbers. So just what we've done before. The adding part is definitely easier because, I'll show you. So you can certainly use a tape diagram to add if you need it, but you don't need to, because we're gonna get into mixed numbers more, and basically all you're doing is making a mixed number. So when you have a whole number and a fraction like that, all you have to do is basically squish the numbers together. It's like making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and you take the jelly side of the bread and the peanut butter side, and you just put them together and you have your sandwich. Well, that's how it is with adding fractions to whole numbers. So all I have to do is write my whole number and then write the fraction next to it, and I'm done. So knowing that for adding, what would be your answer for that second problem, 2 plus 4/7? Yep, just put the numbers together, 2 and 4/7. All right, easy enough. The subtraction we've done. So a couple different ways you can do that. You use your tape diagrams like we did before. So I'll show you the first one. So 2 minus 3/4. So that whole thing is 2. And I want to take away 3/4. So I'm always erasing these when I'm talking. So the whole thing is 2. I want to take away 3/4. So I need to divide one of the pieces into 4ths and take away 3 of them. And remember, when we subtract, your answer is what is not shaded. So you have one whole piece, and you have 1 out of 4 for the second piece. So there's your answer. All right. Another way you can do that is, and I want to show you. Stick with this for now. So why don't you try this one? Why don't you do 5 minus 2/3? Okay. So 5 minus 2/3. So I was going to show you another way to solve these besides a tape diagram. It's the same thing, it's just using a number line. So maybe since you've solved the second one, I'll show you. So if you're subtracting, right, you're starting at 5, and you're going to go back 2/3. You're going backwards, right? So if I'm going backwards on a number line, what is my next whole number going to be? What's the whole number that comes before 5? It's 4. So then if I'm taking away 2/3, I want to divide my number line into 2/3. 1/3, 2/3. So that's 4 and 1/3, 4 and 2/3. So I start at 5 and I take away 2/3. And I end up at 4 and 1/3. Hopefully you got that. If you did it with a tape diagram, it's really similar. Remember, I draw the tape diagram for my whole number. And I have to take away 2/3, so that last piece has to be divided into thirds. I take away 2 of them, and I end up with the same answer, 4 and 1/3. All right. Second type of problem you're going to have is going to be adding something to a mixed number to get it to the next whole number. All right. So I'll do this first one here for you. So when you're adding, remember, you're going to get bigger. So the great thing is they give you the answer, right? They're telling you you're going to end up with 2 pieces on your tape diagram. So what I would do is I'd draw the whole thing. Okay, so this whole thing represents 2. So then I would draw what they give you, which is 1 and 1/5. So here's one whole piece, and then I need 1/5 of the other. So I'm going to shade in. There's one whole piece, and then 1/5 of the other. So it means you have to divide this one into 5 pieces. And how many of those little pieces do you have to shade in? Yep, 1 out of 5. So now all you do is you count the unshaded pieces, and that's going to be the number you add to get to 2. Because, right, if you shade in this whole thing, now you're at 2. So you just count those pieces, and it's right, 4/5. So 1 and 1/5 plus 4/5 will get you to 2. All right, so I'm going to have you, I'll leave that there as an example, but I want you on your paper with pencil or your whiteboard, whatever you want to use, I want you to solve that bottom one. 1 and 1/3 plus what will get you to 2? All right, so I need to draw, I'm going to draw 2 because that's my total. They gave me the answer. They gave me the total. So this whole thing is 2. I want to shade 1 1/3. This has to be divided into thirds. There's 1 and there's 1/3. And so what's left? What else do I have to shade to get to 2? Well, 2/3 more. All right. Okay. Last type of problem you're going to have in independent practice. We've done this before. It's just a review. So all you have to do is to solve the equation, then rewrite as a multiplication sentence. So all you have to do is count first how many fifths you have. So you have 6 of them. So remember, when you're adding or subtracting fractions with the same denominator never changes. You just have to add up your numerators. So you get 6/5. So how do I write that as a multiplication sentence again? Remember, this is showing you it's going to be a whole number. That's going to be a fraction. So what is the fraction you're adding? It's 1/5. And what whole number would go there? Yep, 6. Because I have 6 1/5 or 1/5 6 times. And then you already know your answer. So there you go. All right. So some of this is a review. This is really the only problem that's kind of brand new. But as always, rewatch the video as many times as you need to and reach out to me.